First, we're going to focus on writing equations with infinitely many solutions. So put a little mini title with infinitely many solutions. So copy that. This is just review. Don't copy this down. But a reminder, if the right side of the equation is identical to the left, we have infinitely many solutions. Okay. So if we saw this equation, my left side is identical to my right side. Again, you're still not copying anything down. They're literally the same. I have a 2x on each side and I have a 6 on each side. Now, when we were working through these, you would actually solve them and get to the point where you had a number equaling a number. But even if we looked up at this first line, the simplified equation, you could automatically tell that the left side was equal to the right side. And that's been pretty simple. But starting with this lesson, we're going to be working in the reverse. You're going to be told an equation has infinitely many solutions, and you have to come up with the equation or parts of it. So we need to really remember that for infinitely many solutions, the left side and the right side need to be identical. So in other words, here's what I want you to copy. Both sides of the equation, add that little part in, both sides of the equation will have the same coefficient and the same constant. Okay, that's important. So copy down this part I underlined. So both sides of the equation will have the same coefficient and the same constant. And if you think about the last equation, it was 2x plus 6 equals 2x plus 6. Now what you have here, I want you to copy this sample equation down as well. But if we look at this, same coefficient. We have an A on the left and an A on the right. Same coefficient. We also have the same constant. I have a B on the right and a B on the left. Same coefficient, same constant on each side. Now remember, the other thing that's important is that we have addition, because you don't want to get confused if there's subtraction involved, having to decide is your constant positive or negative. If you have everything addition, it'll be very clear if the constant's a positive number or a negative number. So something to kind of keep in mind. Let's go straight to an example so you can see what this is going to look like. So copy these instructions. Fill in the blanks to create an equation with infinitely many solutions. So copy the instructions down and then label this first problem example 1. Include these blank spaces as well. So hit pause, get that copied. Okay, so remembering our requirements, we need to have the same coefficient and the same constant. Double check that everything is simplified. I don't have subtraction to deal with. There are no other operations to do. So I can focus on my coefficient. My coefficient is a -6. If I have to have the same coefficient on the other side, I look for my x and I make the coefficient -6. Then I need the same constant on each side. Well, my constant is a 1, positive 1. So on the other side, my constant will be a positive 1. Let me make this a little more clear. So our coefficient was a -6. That needs to be the same on both sides. My constant is +1. That needs to be the same on both sides. Now we can check this by solving. Add 6x to each side. And we end up with 1 = 1, which is that special case, if you remember the flow chart, that we want the left side to equal the right side. The check isn't quite as important with the infinitely many just because it's so easy to see the left and the right equaling each other. Let's look at another. Don't copy the instructions. Just write example 1 and copy the example. So now in this case, we do have some simplifying to do. So before I start filling in any blanks, I'm going to simplify. Okay, so simplify first. I have a w plus a w. So I get -4 plus 2w. I'm going to leave my blanks, but I'm going to do my add the opposite. So the right-hand side is going to become blank w plus negative blank. So remember, my coefficients have to be the same, my constants have to be the same. So this is going to help us make sure that everything's accurate. Okay, so I'm going to look on each side and figure out which side has the constant or the coefficient given, and it's a 2, right? My constant is a -4. So that means each side has to have a coefficient of 2 and a constant of -4. The coefficient part's easy. Now the constant has to be -4. I already have my negative sign here, so all I have to put in the blank is a 4. And if you look, I have -4 on the left, -4 on the right. That's good. Don't let the negatives confuse you. There isn't any fancy, crazy strategy you have to do. You literally make sure that the numbers are the same on both sides. And again, if you're ever unsure, if you're not sure if, did I do that part right? Just check it. -4 plus 2w equals 2w plus -4. And just start solving. -4 does equal -4, so I know it's infinitely many. You can always check it. Next one. Don't copy the instructions, just copy the example. Oh, it's 3. First thing is to simplify. So I'll distribute. I get 3a plus 21 equals 3a plus blank. Same coefficient. I have a 3 on both sides. Same constant. 21 on the left. So this needs to become 21. So then that means my original equation, so my final answer, remember, if we need to rewrite the equation, let me go back to the original. And that blank gets filled in with a 21. So if you do have an equation that you have to simplify,